so fit. Entertainment, so fit. Product, so fit. Fit.
I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Hello, welcome to Columbus, Ohio. I'm Todd Christensen. We're here for the third annual Arnold Schwarzenegger Bodybuilding Classic. And who better to commentate with me on this particular event than first a Predator, then a Terminator, and today an NBC commentator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. And you know what, Arnold? I got to tell you something.
I like that.
Along with the Mr. Olympia, this now is probably, these are the two biggest bodybuilding competitions in the United States today.
Well, you're absolutely right. There are several very important professional bodybuilding competitions throughout the year, but I would say that the Arnold's Classic and the Mr. Olympia is now considered by the spectators, by the judges, by the federation, and also by the bodybuilding champions, the top competition, the two top competitions. And the day we're here, you know, obviously for the Arnold's Classic, and it's going to be a major battle amongst the top guys in the world.
Now let's take a look at the preliminary stages of a bodybuilding competition. For the competitors, this is where it begins in the warm-up room, and I think, Arnold, a lot of people don't realize that.
Well, Todd, it's really interesting that for some guys, this period means nothing, the warm-up period. They slap their oil on, they put their posing trunks on, and they go out and compete. But for the majority of guys, this is a very crucial time, because that's where they flex, they pump up, they really tense, they really get into it.
The competitors move to an area just off stage to make final preparations, and Arnold, this is where the psyching begins.
Yeah, part of the preparation is to check each other out and to psych each other out and to really check, you know, who is in good shape, who is not, what body parts are developed in each of the competitors.
The competition continues with all of the athletes parading on stage in front of the judges. It's important to note that this part of the scoring makes up 75% of the final tally, and I think, Arnold, a lot of the fans don't realize that.
Well, Todd, this is a very important round because the pre-judging is the only time that the judges really have a chance to see them all together. And that's the time where they decide who will be in the top 6. And that's the worst experience when you don't get called out. And it's the greatest experience when you do get called out.
At the conclusion of these compulsory poses, the pre-judging ends. There's a few hours break, and then the evening session begins showcasing the individual routines.
Rich Gaspari.
First up this evening, Rich Gaspari. The 5'9", 212-pound native from Edison, New Jersey, has his own fitness center appropriately named Rich Gaspari's Fitness Center. And Arnold, he was the inaugural winner in your competition back in 1989.
It's absolutely correct, Todd, and I think that he's going to be in the future a big threat to the big guys. You know, he's a shorter bodybuilder, but not since Franco Colombo has there been anyone so threatening to the big guys. And he has a good chance to do that down the line.
Well, we mentioned here that in the past 2 Olympia contests, he has finished 3rd and 2nd, respectively. And I think the bodybuilding world is looking for somebody to challenge Lee Haney.
Absolutely, but I don't think that today he's going to be the big surprise. I think that he's a little off. He's not 100% there. He's not as sharp as he should be.
Well, you know, people at home, I'm sure, are saying to themselves, wait a minute, look at the muscles on this guy. He looks awesome. And as we mentioned, the terrific finishes that he's had in the past. What is it that you're looking at that would lead you to believe he's not as sharp?
Well, just watch him when he poses right now. You can see the pectoral muscles are not as defined. His abdominal muscles are not as defined. There's not the separation in the muscles in the thighs. All of those kind of things the average guy can see, it's a little off today. You see, even in the pectoral muscle right now.
Well, he's getting enough of a cheer to come out for an encore.
Yeah, it's a good trick. This is kind of saying to the judges, here, look how big I am, how cut I am, the people like me.
Just ahead, we'll look at Dynamo's Sean Ray and Vince Taylor. And I'll give you a full explanation of traps, glutes, and pecs.
I can't wait for that one.
Yeah, pump it up.
Welcome back to Columbus, Ohio, and the 3rd annual Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. Many times when you're watching a bodybuilding competition, it seems as if people are talking in a foreign language. You hear bis, tris, lats, delts, glutes, abs. What does all of this mean? Well, with us today, across from the ocean from London, England, Selwyn Cottrell, an up-and-coming bodybuilder, is here to give us a demonstration of what it is we're talking about. Go to the double biceps for us, Selwyn. This is probably the most popular pose that you get, and right here you get a chance to see those biceps, and tris, the triceps. What Hulk Hogan would refer to as great pythons. Selwyn's obviously got them. Now give us a crab, would you, Selwyn? This accentuates some of the other muscles, the trapezoids, or the traps that you hear, the pecs, pectoralis major, the abdominal muscles right here. Here, the flat stomach that you can see, and right here, the quads, the powerful thigh muscles that Selwyn portrays. But do you think the judges are just looking from the front? You're wrong. Take a look now from the back and give us the lat spread. Look at how it accentuates here the latissimus dorsi, the wide back which narrows down into the V shape that the bodybuilders want. Here, the narrow waist, and here the tight glutes, and even farther down. Don't think that they don't have to concentrate on the legs. On the other side of the quads here, you have the hams, and probably the most difficult thing for bodybuilders to develop, the calf muscles right here in the diamond shape that Mr. Cottrell wants. These are the things that are happening here in bodybuilding, and this is what the judges are looking at. Very subjective judgment here in this very important competition.
Wait a minute, Todd. How does an ex-tight end become such an expert in my sport, huh?
Well, the truth is I'm not so much an expert, but I needed those muscles to catch passes and not get beat up, and I will confess that I didn't exactly look quite as good during my playing days as this man, Sean Ray, the 25-year-old native from Placentia, California, the hometown that also hails Janet Evans, the Olympic gold medal swimmer. Now, one of the things that impresses me right away about Sean Ray Arnold is his symmetry. It seems to me that this 5'7" dynamo has it from top to bottom.
He's very well proportioned. Today came in top shape. I think this is the best I've ever seen him. He has tremendous muscle separation, and I think that he has a real good shot. And I told you that in the afternoon, and I say it now again, he has a great shot to get the title.
Arnold, you certainly mastered the subtleties of competition, the right smile, the right music, the right oil, the right trunks. He seems to have it all together.
Well, projecting that confidence is so important because that's part of winning, of convincing the judges that you're totally under control. And this is why he moves very slow and is in total control of his body.
Can something like that overcome a weakness? In other words, if you have somebody like Sean who looks, he's a handsome guy, has the smile, can that overcome something like a muscle deficiency somewhere?
It could, because the important thing is to really show that you are in shape and that you're confident and that you look like a winner.
Well, Sean Ray certainly exudes confidence, and he's got that great name, too. That's a name that it's easy to remember. Kind of like Schwarzenegger. Here's the 196-pounder showing off his crab. A double biceps for both the judges and the audience. And as Arnold mentioned earlier, the smile of a champion. And speaking of smiles, a little earlier in the day here at Veterans Memorial Auditorium, about 2,000 fans lined up to see if they could get their picture taken, shake hands with, or even get a little piece of my co-commentator here, Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger. And this is a good opportunity to mention that next year's Classic will be held right here, but on February 29th. So check your local ticket agencies. You know, Arnold, as I sit here and I watch the excited look on the people's faces, do you ever get tired of this adulation?
No, I'm there to please people. I mean, these are my fans. These are the bodybuilding fans, and that's what I'm there for.
Well, Arnold, if the money would have been the way it is back in your day, maybe you'd still be bodybuilding. As we take a look at the prize money graphic, a total purse of $200,000. Maybe you wouldn't have had to go into movies.
Mr. Olympia.
That's right, but I tell you, every year we want to up the money, and next year it will be $250,000. So we're trying to match other sports.
Vince Taylor.
Now we get a chance to look at Vince Taylor, a native of Pembroke Pines, Florida. You know, Vince Taylor was third place in the Mr. Olympia in 1989. It just goes to show, Arnold, that one of the problems in bodybuilding, much like golf and an individual sport, is you've got to win to get some attention, because Vince Taylor is a very good competitor.
He's a very good competitor, but you always have to start somewhere, you know, and I think that he's gotten a good start now, and I think if he does really well at this competition, he will have a good shot in future competitions.
He works out in a very interesting place there in Florida. The name of his gym is called the Animal House Gym.
I like that name.
You know, much like Sean Ray, he has a very impressive level of symmetry. And look, one of the things that you and Boyer Co. are very famous for is your biceps. Look at the biceps there on Vince Taylor.
He has tremendous arms. I mean, a very, very good proportion between triceps and biceps and forearms. You see the veins, the vascularity and muscularity all at the same time. And he really uses it well. Look at how dramatic he poses.
An excellent routine for Vince Taylor. Take a look at the bicep that Arnold alluded to. Nice front pose, great strength shown by Vince Taylor. Still ahead, we'll feature highlights of the Ms. International competition.
I can't wait.
And we'll face off with the greatest bodybuilder of the 70s and of the 80s. Come on, Lee. Tell me you kick his butt. Welcome back to the third annual Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. Here now is Renelle Janvier from Mount Vernon, New York. Wow, look at that.
It's a very dramatic opening, I tell you. And it takes a lot of nerves to start a posing routine like that. But I think he can afford it because he's a little monster. He's 5'7" tall and he weighs 210 pounds. So you can imagine how much muscle mass is on that body.
How much athleticism does it take to do some of the posing routines? I think people at home might just assume, well, all you got to do is flex. But it actually takes some flexibility as well as some dancing skill here.
It takes coordination, it takes a lot of concentration, and of course you lose a tremendous amount of weight while you're doing those posing routines. So it takes a lot of effort.
Is there a standard weight for a specific height? We mentioned earlier Sean Ray. He also is 5'7", but he was only 195 pounds. Mr. Janvier there has an extra 15 pounds to that frame, but as far as I can tell, he carries it very well, Arnold.
He carries it very well, but look at his posing routine. Even though his body is so outstanding, I think that his posing routine is even more outstanding. And I think with that combination, he's going to do a lot of damage today.
Why do you suppose that some people choose the less rhythmic music, and now all of a sudden his is much more dramatic, very staccato? Is that to accentuate certain body parts?
I think it is because his body looks accordingly. I think that someone else would not get away with that kind of a routine. He just has a very dramatic looking body with a lot of muscle there and a lot of definition, and then he can do a dramatic routine like that. Someone that doesn't have this kind of a body will not get away with it.
Very impressive. Arnold, I don't see any weaknesses.
Fantastic. Look at the thighs.
While there's a break in the action, we want to show you an interview we had a chance to do with the two greatest names in bodybuilding. Arnold Schwarzenegger, of course, and the reigning Mr. Olympia, Lee Haney. They had some fascinating things to say about each other and their sport of bodybuilding.
I think we all get into the sport, whatever sport it is, because we love it, because we fall in love with it, or because we feel that we have a certain kind of a potential in this sport and we could get great. And so I think that in my days, the last time I competed, I got $1,000 for winning the Mr. Olympia competition, so you can just see the difference. And I swore to myself then that when I stepped down from the competition, I will promote the sport.
Talking to Robbie Robinson earlier, he addressed the point that during Arnold's tenure, it seemed that there was more of a sense of camaraderie amongst the participants. Do you agree?
Well, I caught the tail end of a magical era. You know, I've had a chance to stand on stage with some of the greatest in the sport of bodybuilding, although I didn't get an opportunity to compete against Arnold. Probably fortunate that I didn't. But
for me, maybe.
False modesty, okay.
But, you know, it has gone through evolution, and, you know, money has a tendency to change things because, like during Arnold's era, for instance, we did it for the sheer enjoyment of it. You know, there wasn't a lot of money to be made then.
Is it safe to say the bodybuilders are reasonably good athletes as well? It isn't just
excellent athlete. Our sport is not like football or basketball. We are on the entire year. There's no off and on season.
Today you've seen that just about in any sport that you look into, if it is football, if it is basketball, if it is boxing, Lee Haney, for instance, is the trainer of Holyfield. He trains him in weight training, and he's the world champion fighter, so obviously he wouldn't be training with weights if it slows you down. Professional wrestlers in figure skating. Every sport is now using weight training.
And who better to know than the king himself? During his reign, Arnold Schwarzenegger turned his weight training into 7 prestigious Mr. Olympia titles. Seemingly an unreachable record, until Lee Haney came along.
Throughout the last 10 years of bodybuilding, I always was saying to myself, I hope no one breaks my record. And every year he was getting closer and closer to this thing. I say, uh-oh, I think this guy is going to go after my record. And then I said to myself, well, now usually guys don't hang around that long. He probably is going to retire after the 6th Mr. Olympia title, you know. Maybe become a big gym owner, own around 20 clubs. I wanted to finance his clubs so he gets away from the competitive scene and all those things. And then all of a sudden, there it happened. You know, there was a big build-up that Lee Haney's going to break Arnold's record and all those things. And after he did it, and he won the 7th Mr. Olympia title, I felt great about it. I honestly can say that, because no one that deserves it more than Lee, because he has paid his dues. He's a great gentleman. He's a great athlete, a good competitor, and fair, and he represents the sport so well that I only heard the best about him, you know, and he's a very dear friend of mine.
I know that a lot of the hardcore bodybuilding fans out there want to know the answer to this question. In your prime, at your best, who's going to win?
I think it's really going to be a very, very tough competition, and you need a lot of experienced judges to judge that. That's the way I see it. Maybe Lee can speak for himself.
Come on, Lee, be controversial. Tell me you kick his butt. Come on.
It's like...
You have to understand, Lee. Television ratings are created through confrontation and hostility and all kinds of things like that. So maybe we should give them a line. Yes, he can beat me, and I think he can beat me, so now let's get the ratings up.
Well, Arnold, I don't know about the ratings, but one thing's for sure, Lee Haney's a class act.
To the right.
He's a wonderful champion.
Well, now the judges have made their decision. We're down to our final 6. Steve Brisbois, Renel Janvier, J.J. Marsh, Terry Pastel, Sean Ray, and Vince Taylor.
The music man's
Arnold,
ready.
as you
Hold
predicted
down.
earlier, a very noted absence here being Rich Gaspari.
I told you he was not 100% there. As a matter of fact, he was off quite a bit. and the judges noticed it, and he's not in the top 6.
Now, what happens here? Is this a situation where everybody wants to get the exact same poses, or they want to just accentuate what is best for them here?
Well, let me just tell you, first of all, that the judges right now have a real tough time to judge this competition because those guys almost look alike. They have great quality, all of them, to be in the top 6. Muscle mass is there. Some are shorter, some are taller, some are heavier, some are lighter, but they're very hard to judge now. I mean, how are you going to pick the winner out of the 6? But I would have to say that Sean Ray right now is gaining, and I think he has a good shot at it.
One of the things that I think that people want to do is that they want to get next to who they think is the biggest competition. I noticed that a lot of the people want to get next to Sean Ray and show that they might have a better body part than he in some area or another.
Right, but it's at the same time very dangerous because you also can expose yourself and show to the judges that there's certain things missing that he has. So I think that the important thing right now is for him to stay stable, to feel secure, and to show kind of that he's a champion.
Well, Arnold, that concludes the pose-down round of the competition, the frosting on the cake, as it were, and now it is left in the hands of the judges. Earlier in the day, we had the Ms. International highlights, and here you see the second-place winner, Anya Schreiner from Germany. And Arnold, a lot of people want to know if this is the look of the woman of the 90s. Is that just a little bit too muscular?
Well, it might be for the general public, but in order to win the competition, the Miss International, Miss Olympia, or any of those competitions, women need to have also, just like men, a lot of muscles, muscle separations, definitions, and all that. And of course, for some people, that might be too much, but that's what you need in order to win.
Now we get a chance to look at the winner, Tanya Knight. You may recognize her. This young lady plays gold on the syndicated series American Gladiators. And obviously in her free time, she does a lot of weightlifting. She looks very good, doesn't she, Arnold?
She looks fabulous, and she has been a great competitor for several years now, and I think she's going to win a lot in the future.
Summer girl. Girl. Summer girl. Basically, what I want to know is, am I getting paid for this? No!
We're awaiting word now from the judges.
Third place, with a check for $20,000, goes to Vince Taylor.
Obviously not a popular decision. The audience wanted him to place higher.
And now for the winner.
And the second place goes to Ronald Jambier, and the winner is Sean Ray.
I knew it. I knew it. He looks fantastic, and he really deserved to win this competition. But I have to say that it was very close between those top 3 competitors.
Yeah, by the reaction of the crowd, you could say when they booed Vince Taylor, you could tell that a lot of them wanted him.
That's right, and they are very pleased about Sean Ray being the winner. So I think that the judges and the audience is in agreement with that, and he, of course, look at how happy he is now.
We'll be back to talk with the winner right after this. Welcome back to Columbus, and this is a very happy Sean Ray, the winner of this year's Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. The official order of finish had Sean first, second Ronald Janvier, third Vince Taylor, fourth J.J. Marsh, fifth Thierry Pastel, and sixth Steve Brisbois. Backstage here with the winner, Sean Ray. And Sean, yesterday when I was talking with you, you were talking about how you said, the mirror doesn't lie and I'm going to win this thing. Well, you did it.
Yeah, well, with each contest, I've been gaining more and more momentum. My placings have been very well. The only thing that I could really rely on was the mirror, and this time it said that I was right on and wouldn't lose or draw. I felt like I did my homework, so it came out with a happy ending.
Sean, how much did dieting contribute to your success?
Yeah, I think dieting is at least 85% of it, and the rest I think is mental. I don't believe in the physical part. You can do that in your sleep, but I mean the mental part of staying on a diet and staying disciplined and the physical wear and tear that you endure is very hard. So I take my hats off to all the competition. It's very hard and strenuous.
Sean, congratulations to you, and the 70 grand doesn't hurt her either, does it?
No, it doesn't. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Arnold, you know, it's been a real pleasure for me getting a chance to do my first bodybuilding competition. I really enjoyed it.
Well, Todd, I enjoyed working with you too, and of course, as you know, I've worked with a lot of announcers before, and but you are without any doubt the most recent.
Swell, I'm playing straight man for the Terminator. For Arnold Schwarzenegger, this is Todd Christensen saying so long from Columbus, Ohio.
See you next year.